Imagine the amount of information you are passing from one system to the other system in just only 1 hour. When compared, you take the same instance of a telephone call. What could be? Imagine the amount of charges if you call from one phone to the other phone for 1 hour. It charges very much. Even the fax and also the courier service. So when compared to all the services, email definitely is inexpensive, or it could be less expensive. Email is fast. Definitely, mail is delivered instantly from your office to anywhere in the world. No other method is faster. Timely buying and selling decisions can be made in a heartbeat. Just within a second, you can go in for timely buying and selling decisions. It can be made in a heartbeat, since mail is delivered instantly from your office to anywhere within the world. So email is fast. Next, email is easy to filter. The subject line on an email makes it easy to prioritize messages. The reader can identify critical correspondence quickly and deal with it immediately. So in the email, when you look into the anatomy of email, there will be a subject line wherein we will be writing the purpose of email. Like say for instance, I am sending a document to somebody. So I will write the nature or the subject line that it is a document. So emails is easy to filter. What do you mean by this is, so when all the emails are there in your inbox, by looking at the subject line, you can prioritize them. You can know which is of highest priority and which is of lowest priority. But if you take the case of letters coming to your house, you have to open every letter and see the content over there immediately, then only you will know what the inner content is. But that is not the case with here email. By looking at the subject line, you can justify what the email is for. So the reader can identify critical correspondence quickly and he can deal with it immediately. And transmission is secure and reliable. So the level of security in transmitting email messages is very high, and the industry continues to strive to develop even tighter security levels. So transmission is secure and reliable. The level of security in transmitting email messages is very high. So the security, even the level of security in transmitting email messages from one person to the other person is very high. And the industry, what is the organization or business industry is doing these days is they are maintaining tighter security levels, like firewalls. You might be seeing or you might heard this term firewall. What is a firewall is it allows or it delimits the emails to enter into your messages. So the level of security also is more in, or it is reliable in emails. Now email is private, whereas often telephone and fax messages are not. So email is private, whereas telephone and fax messages are not. The next one is, if the address information is correct, rarely does an email go astray. But fax machines can be out of order or out of paper, and this prevents an important message from being delivered in a timely manner. So while writing your email, if you properly specify the destination, so email will go to the destination. There will not be any cases wherein the message is not being received by the other end. Whereas you take the example of a fax machine, if the other end is out of paper, then definitely your message cannot be delivered, and important messages you may be out of important messages. So that is again an importance of email. Now the next concept is, why use email? Why should we use email? Email is the most frequently used service on the internet. Internet is providing several services. Among all the services, email is the most frequently used service on the internet. The reasons are: send a message anytime, anywhere, and the recipient can read it at his or her convenience. You can have it anytime. You can send a message anytime and anywhere also, anywhere within the world you can send the message. And also we have seen even to the astronauts these days messages are sent. Why? Because they have email. We don't have a telephone connection over there, but they will be using wireless network for the net to be working over there. They will use wireless network. So send a message anytime, anywhere, and the recipient can read it at his or her convenience. And the next one is send the same message to multiple recipients. See here, I have more than one recipient, all will be receiving the same message. So the same message can be sent to multiple recipients. Say for instance, something is going to happen in your house, say for instance, and you want to invite all the persons. Say for say a sudden occasion has occurred, a marriage event which is very sudden, and you don't have to time to print out the wedding cards and send to all the other persons. So the best method you can go in, of course a few are following, but yet to be followed in the Indian tradition, but a few are what they are doing, they are just writing the message on the email and they are transferring it to all the friends and friends. So that is the advantage of email. The same message can be sent to multiple recipients. Now see here, if you could see the picture here, now he is the center who is very cool, look, because he need not type the same message many times, just the message is written and the message is being transferred to one person, second person and a group of persons over here. So the same message can be transferred to more than one person here. And the next one is the message need not be retyped. Here we can just, if any information has to be forwarded, because already it is there or it is stored in the inbox, it is enough that you send the message, you need not retype the message. The next one is email is fast, usually taking no more than a few minutes to be received. It's really fast. Why? Because it doesn't take more than few minutes. Now we can attach digital files to your messages, include electronic documents, video clips, music and also photos. Not only just textual messages can be included in your email message, you can also send electronic documents, you can send a video clip, a birthday function of your son, a music album or photos. Anything can be sent, can be attached to your email message. Now an interesting point here is last year over 7 trillion email messages were sent. Imagine 7 trillion means nearly 7 lakh crores of email messages were sent, and that is the importance of email. Now how email works on the internet. Like a postal address, an email address specifies the destination of an electronic message. An internal email address looks like this. Internet email address looks like this. You have username @ domain name. Just as while you post a card, what do? We write the postal address. Similarly for email also you have to write email address, wherein the format is username @ of domain name. Now let us see an example for this. This is an example email address. Now Lakshman @ yahoo.com. So yahoo.com @ this is the internet domain where recipient has mailbox, and Lakshman is the recipient's email name. So this recipient's email name. So you are sending a message now to whom? We are sending a message to Lakshman. So you are writing the address of Lakshman as Lakshman @ yahoo.com, and this is internet domain where recipient has a mailbox. So the username is a unique name that identifies the recipient. Once you create an email account, the username is unique. No other person can have that username. In the previous example we have seen Lakshman. So that account has been created, no other person can have the same username in that particular account. Like I have created in Yahoo. In Yahoo I cannot have another user with the same name. So while creating the account, provisions will be given to the user seeking for alternative names also. Lakshman 123, 123 Lakshman, likewise. Depending on that you can select any of the username. So username is a unique name that identifies the recipient. And the next one is the domain name. The domain name is the address. Many people can share the same domain name. So the domain names are, you have seen yahoo.com. So it is a domain name. So many people can share the same domain name. Examples, you have .com there, yahoo.com. So similarly you can have .aero, aero. For air transport industry, this is used, .aero. For BIZ, reserved for businesses. .com for businesses, commercial enterprises or online services like American Online. .edu, all the educational sites, all the universities will have this extension, .edu. And next, .gov, this is particularly reserved for United States government agencies. All the US government agencies use this extension, .gov. .mil, again reserved for the United States military. .museums, for use by museums. All the museums around the world will be using this extension, .museum. .name, for use by individuals. Individuals, if they want in specific, they will use .name. .net, particularly for networks. .org for non-commercial organization. So yahoo.com, it is a commercial organization, so .com is being used. You can, similarly you can have .org, .net, .name, .museum, .military and .gov. All these are the domain names. Email is sent and received through electronic post offices known as mail servers. So the software that is being used, or it is sent through electronic post offices, and we term it as a mail server. So any message is sent through the mail server. To read your email, you download it from the mail server. So when you type your message and send it, immediately that will be stored in the server and you can read your email from the server. You can download it from the mail server. So that is how you use. So email is sent and received through electronic post offices known as mail servers. Now some examples of mail servers are Yahoo, Hotmail, Gmail, Rediff, India Times, all these and many thousands of mail servers are there. Look at here, web browser is there wherein you are typing the message, and if your system is connected through internet, then the data will be transferred to the mail server. So if you want to send a message internally, what happens is you are typing the message using a web browser, like you will be using an Internet Explorer, a Netscape Navigator or Mozilla, anything. So you will be typing your message, and through the internet, when it is connected to the net, the data will be transferred to the mail server, wherein the recipient will be, again the mail server will transfer the data to the recipient's system, wherein the recipient will now access the mail. Once you enter the addresses of the recipient, compose your message and click send, your email software handles the delivery. So after you address the recipient, after the recipient is being addressed, you compose. Composing your message means you write whatever you want to send the recipient and click send. Send button will be there, you click send, and your email software handles the delivery, and it is up to the email software to transfer the delivery. Look here, now the message is sent to the mail server of your system and the mail server of the recipient, and from there it is transferring to the recipient. This is the source and this is the destination. Look how the message is being transferred from the source to the destination with the help of mail servers. Now how reliable is email? If the message does not reach its destination the first time, the mail server sends it again. So whatever message, say for instance you have sent a message from the source to the destination, and if the recipient, and you have received a message like message not sent or an invalid email address. So then what does the mail server do is, if the message is not sent, the mail server again sends it. So it sees one or two times and sends it again. Say for instance the inbox of the recipient is full, then it will be again boom back to your message. So if the message does not reach its destination the first time, the mail server sends it again. If the message is not delivered, you usually receive a message explaining the problem along with the full text of the original message. So what do we do is, if the message is sent, what happens is, say for instance a letter is sent to the recipient and the recipient is not there at home. What happens is, in the case of postal services, the letter will be dropped at his house. But what happens here is, if the message is not, the recipient is not ready to accept your message, it will be transferred to his inbox, and later the inbox can be opened and the message can be viewed by the recipient. But say for instance, if his inbox is full, then immediately you will get a message wherein you will see the problem over there and will try to send the message later along with the full text, and the original message is not lost over here. Now you can correct the problem, typically an incorrect email address, and resend it. So you can correct, if the email is not correct, you can correct it and you can resend it. Now how private is email? There is no guarantee of email privacy. A message can be intercepted